Okay, welcome back. It's time for another exercise. This exercise is going to reinforce NPM and installing packages, requiring them, running files with Node, and also some of the basic command line commands. But in addition to all of that, it's also going to force you to be a little bit resourceful and to read the docs to find out how a particular package works. So here's a rundown of what you need to do. Create a directory named myshop, add a file named listproducts.js inside of the myshop directory, and then you need to install the Faker package. Faker is a package that is actually pretty widely used. It helps you really easily and quickly create random fake data. So if you're testing out your application and you don't have users, but you want to fill it out with fake user data that's not all identical. So you want to generate 100 different phone numbers that follow a particular format, or 100 fake addresses that all have a state and a zip code and a city, or you want to generate random names. It will even do things like generate random colors and random startup slogans, random hacker jargon. It definitely has a little bit of a sense of humor in some of the things that it generates. But what's important is that it's a package that you don't know yet, and you need to go install it, and then you need to figure out how it works. And I'll reassure you right now that it is simple. It's just 1 or 2 lines that you'll need from the Faker docs to make this work. So we're not talking about some crazy exercise that is going to push you really hard, but I am asking you to approach this as if it was real life, and you were trying to figure out how to generate fake data. And the data that I want you to generate is 10 random product names and 10 random prices. And Faker has both of those as options. So you'll need to generate 2 different things and print them out. And I'll show you what it looks like. Node listproducts.js. And this is the output I'm looking for. Yours will look quite a bit different because all of the product names, like small cotton computer, tasty granite computer, fantastic rubber mouse, those are all randomized. And the prices are also randomized. All that I'm looking for is 10 lines where we have a random product, a dash, and a random price. And if you'd like, go ahead and format it nicely like this so we have a little welcome message. But that's not really the focus of this whole thing. It's much more about NPM and installing things, and then also reading the docs and figuring out how it works. So I will give you the hint that it is just called Faker on NPM. If you just search for Faker, it's the first thing that comes up. And you'll want to take a look at some of these examples. And that's all that I'll say. So have fun with this. This is one of those exercises that I really strongly recommend that you do. I recommend that you do all of them. But this one in particular is going to activate a bunch of different important parts of your developer brain. So I highly recommend that you do it. Don't just cheat and fast forward to see how I do it. Take the time and go through it on your own. And then as always, when you are ready, once you try it out and you either get it to work or you get stuck, then unpause the video and I'll be back with a solution. All right, see you in a little bit. So whether you got it to work 100%, or if you got it to work partially, or if you're just ignoring everything that I said and just fast forwarding, I'm going to go over the solution right now. I'll start by clearing the console here. And the first thing we need to do is make a directory named myshop. So make directory myshop. And then we'll go inside of that directory, cd myshop. Great. Make a file called listproducts.js. So touch listproducts.js. And then we need to install the Faker package. So we need to type npm install Faker. We'll take a moment, and then as soon as it finishes, we'll see that we have a new node modules directory. You can see that here. You could also see it here if I type ls, node modules, and inside of it, we have Faker and all of the Faker logic and all the code that goes along with it. So I'll close out of that, and let's open up our file here, listproducts.js. The very first thing that we want to do is import Faker. So we're going to have a require Faker, and we'll set it equal to a variable. I'll just call it Faker. Var Faker equals require Faker, and that's it. And if we want to make sure that it works, we can just run node listproducts.js, and as long as we don't get an error, then we're all good. If I did have something in here, like var Faker equals require Faker with 2 R's, and then I tried to run the file, you can see it gives me an error, cannot find module Faker with 2 R's. So it found the module, which is great, Let me clear that error away. Go back to Faker with 1R. Now let's open up the Faker docs and take a look at their example that they provide. They do have an example of how to use Faker in a browser, but that's not what we're doing. We're looking for the Node.js example. You can see they required it, just like we did. And then they're doing 3 different things. Let's just copy these over and see how they work. So this is always a good place to start. If a package ever has any sort of usage, introduction, or getting started code snippet, I always go for that first. So let's go back and just paste that in. It looks like this code will generate a random name, a random email, and a random contact card. So let's run this, and we'll just do one at a time. Let's comment out these here, and we'll just do random name, and we'll console.log random name at the end. Console.log random name, just like that, and save. And we'll run our file, node list.products.js, and we get a new random name, Eugene Parker Miss. And we'll do one more, 2 more. There we go, random names. Let's try the same thing now, but with random email. So we'll just change what we're printing out, just the variable name, and we'll run it again. Now we get these new random emails. And lastly, we'll do it with the random card. Even though we don't need to use any of these for the exercise that I asked you to do, it's good just to get familiar with how it works. So everything is faker dot something else. So faker dot some sort of category like internet or name, and then a particular method like find name or email. Now let's try random card and just see what that gives us. Wow, okay, so a lot of information here. Tons and tons of information, including email, name, username, an address, phone number, website, a company that they work for that has a catchphrase like frontline real-time success, and some BS as well, visionary matrix metrics. Also some posts, I guess like blog posts or comments. All sorts of fun information and useful information if we wanted to seed our database, if we wanted to have some starter data without having to sign up real users. This is where Faker becomes really handy. But of course, this is not what we're trying to do. So I'm actually going to delete all of this. What we're trying to do is print out a random product with a random price, and then do that 10 times. Let's go back to the Faker docs and scroll down a bit. And towards the bottom, we see this section called API methods. And this shows all of the different methods, all the different things that Faker can generate for us, and the category that we access them under. So we have address, all different address components. And next is commerce, which sounds like it could have some stuff that we're looking for. And it does. So product name, definitely we could do commerce.product name. And what do you know? Right below product name, we also have price. So the 2 things that we're looking for under commerce are product name and price. Let's test them out, and we'll just do one first. So faker.commerce.product name, just like that. It's a method, and we'll print it out. So console.log, just like that. And I'll clear my console again and run the file. And we got awesome metal bike. And one more time, sleek, fresh gloves. And rustic concrete tuna. That's a great one. So that will generate us a product name. Now let's try it for price. So I'll just duplicate this line, which in Cloud9 and in Sublime, you can do with Command-Shift-D. And then I'll comment the first one out. And just to double check, it was commerce price. So we're going to do faker.commerce.price. And it's also a method. All of them are. And I'll save that and just hit the up arrow, hit enter, and now we're getting a random price. Great. Next thing we want to do is combine them into a single line, and then we'll worry about repeating it 10 times. So we want to combine it so that it looks like product name dash and then the price. So we can just do a single line where we console.log one time, just like this. So we'll console.log the product name plus, and we can just start like that, product name plus the price, and save. And if we hit the up arrow, we get tasty cotton car 335.97. Of course, we want a space and a dash, so we need to go back to our string concatenation and add in a new string with a space and with a dash and another space and then the other plus sign. And now we add those together and hit the up arrow and run it again. We now get refined concrete pizza dash 38.09. Wow, that's really a great price for concrete pizza, especially refined concrete pizza. All right. One minor thing that we are missing is a dollar sign. So in my example, I did have a dollar sign, and it looked like refined concrete pizza dash dollar sign 38.09. So we can just add that right here, just like that. Or if we really wanted to, which is not really a good idea, but we could add it separately as a dollar sign, but it makes a lot more sense just to use the string that we already have. So dash space dollar sign, and now we'll save, and I'll clear this out and run it again. Now we get intelligent wooden computer at the bargain price of 88 cents with a dollar sign. So the last thing we need to do is repeat this 10 times. By now you should be an expert at repeating things. We can use a while loop or we can use a for loop. And as you know by now, I definitely prefer for loops. They're much shorter most of the time. So we'll do a for loop to repeat something 10 times. And there's a lot of ways of doing that. I'm just going to start at 0 and go while I is less than 10 and add 1 to I each time. But of course we could go the other direction, start at 10 and subtract 1. We could go from 20 to 30. There's so many options here, but the standard one, if there was one standard way of doing this, is to go from 0 up until the number. And then all we need to do is copy our code in here, just like that. Hit save, and let's try running it now. There we go. We get 10 different products and 10 different prices. The last really minor thing is to go ahead and add in our little message that says, "Welcome to my shop." And we can also add in some of those equal signs just to space it out a bit, just like this. But of course, this is totally superfluous, not something that I really want you to spend much time on in this case. But just to follow through and to make it look exactly like the example looked like, I'll go ahead and add those in. And if we run it now, clear, give you the full experience, and we hit run, or we hit enter, I get welcome to my shop and my 10 products with the 10 prices. Okay, so that's all we needed to do. I hope you enjoyed that a little bit. As I mentioned earlier, Faker is not only a simple and easy to use package, but it's also one that is used pretty widely. So it's not just like the knock knock jokes or the cat me packages, which are totally useless. It is something that has real use and that you'll actually see in the real world. And in the next video, I'm going to introduce another new package, a really, really important one to this course, the most important package by far, which is called Express. And we're going to start creating our own simple web servers.